10, 12 years ago, when I was doing Ring of Honor for Sinclair, right? We shot all the TV in Baltimore. We would go to, I would drive up from Louisville to Baltimore on like a Thursday. And then all day Friday would be the pre-tape and interviews and local promos and, pre-production for the taping. And then on Saturday, we'd do 4 one-hour TV programs in the same night. And then on Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, sometimes Wednesday, if there was a Y in it, we would do post-production at the TV station in Baltimore on the shows. And my involvement in that, obviously, was that as soon as I got there, I'd start looking at the raw footage, and I would log it, which means that you go through and you watch, and you have a time code reader that reads you an exact time code down to the frame on the video you're watching. And if anybody, if there's a fucked up move you want to take out, put a crowd shot over it, or if there's a bad camera switch, or if somebody says something stupid on an interview, you want to take it out. Or just if there's a goddamn rotten match you need to shorten up, or somebody went long, whatever, you have to log the exact numbers to get in and get out and how to cover it. Cover with crowd, switch to camera 2, find ISO, whatever the case. And then you turn it over to the editors and you supervise the editing while they're doing what you've marked. And that way the program comes out on time. Whoever said stupid shit doesn't look any stupider than they have to. The matches are, nobody does anything phony, obviously, without being covered up, etc. Right? You polish the show. And it takes to log a 45-minute program, which is, basically we were 48 minutes without commercials. It takes 3 or 4 hours because you got to sit there and roll back and find the exact spot. And then if you're still over time, you got to find places to cut, or if you're under time. So me doing it with the experience of 20 years, 3 or 4 hours for each show. And I got sick one time. The Wednesday I was about to fucking leave. Wednesday evening, I'm getting sick. Well, I ain't got time to go to the doctor. Got to drive to Baltimore. Drive to Baltimore 600 miles. Do a whole day of promos and pre-production on Friday and etc. And then Saturday, I'm really feeling it. And I've got to go to the show. And of course, being as I was technically the highest ranking wrestling person, naturally, I'm the first one in the building. I remember it used to be that all of us fucking stooges and simpletons and the underneath guys, they got there plenty early to make sure that everybody saw they were there on time. And the boss, whether it be Dusty or Watts or whoever the fuck, wandered in just any old rabbit-ass time they wanted to. Somehow that switched over the years, and I was there first, and I'd be the one flipping the fucking light switch on in the locker room, looking around, where's the fucking talent? Where's all my stars, as Jimsy would say. And of course, I was leaving there. Nobody ever left a Ring of Honor TV taping later than me and Delirious, except for the actual technical crew that still had stuff to tear down. But all the boys were, it's midnight. It was so late, even on a Saturday night, when I'd leave that building, I'd have to fucking call ahead in the car on my cell phone to order a fucking pizza, which was the only thing that I could find open at that time, to be delivered to my hotel room I still was on the way to, and hoping I beat it. So by the time I get up on Sunday to go down there to that TV station and start logging that footage, I am full-fledged. It turned out I was diagnosed. I had a sinus infection and bronchitis by the time I got home. So I'm sure that they loved, I sat in a corner in the edit suite or spent time in the logging bay by myself as much as possible. And I'm sure they just loved me spraying all my germs all over everybody. But we got to the point where I got finished with the work that I had to do. And, Mark Davis, the editor, and everybody could take over, and I could leave and go home. And I left on Tuesday. And this is going to be the fucking, hopefully, hilarious finale to this story. I'm driving 600 miles back from Baltimore to fucking Louisville. I've not had a good night's sleep in 4 or 5 days. Plus, I've lost my voice completely trying to talk and pitch the finishes and run through the show for 4 hours of TV on Saturday in the ring with the guys. I actually had to have them huddle up even closer to me because my voice wouldn't project where they could hear me. So I'm sure I've fucking infected half the goddamn wrestling world. And I'm in the car, and I've got about I'm to Clarksburg, West Virginia. And I've got a big old Kleenex box on a car seat next to me because I'm blowing my nose constantly because it's just fucking dripping, and I'm sneezing, and I'm coughing, and I got the bronchitis and the phlegm. And who knows what my blood pressure is because I haven't taken my blood pressure medicine in almost a week because it makes me piss constantly, and I can't be pissing every 30 minutes on the side of the road in Hoo-Ha, West Virginia, or while I'm trying to do finishes or whatever the fuck. So my blood pressure's off the charts. I sneezed hard, then blew my nose, got into a coughing fit, and strained myself so bad my nose starts gushing blood. And, Brian, I don't know, have you ever been around me during one of my nosebleeds?
No, thankfully.
You would love it. I've had nosebleeds since I was a little kid. I had them more when I was a kid. They've gone away over the past 10 or 15 years. Blood pressure medicine probably has helped, but it wasn't even related to that. Before I was even a teenager, I had my nose cauterized like twice. They used to do that for nosebleed prone kids. Never fucking worked. Miserable procedure. Do they still do it? I don't fucking know. And when I'm sick, when the weather's dry or my nose is dried out, when I'm straining, whatever, that's why in the back seat with the Midnight Express one time on the way to Houston, I got a goddamn gusher of a nosebleed, and it made Bobby Eaton so fucking ill that Dennis Condrey was laughing at him until I kept bleeding. And then Dennis even got worried. And Dennis is not a worrisome sort. He pulled over the side of the road at this we're in the middle of southern Louisiana at this gas station who had a bathroom that looked like it was in a fucking rundown state park in a bad part of fucking town, right? Just fucking concrete and a hose. And I'm trying to stop, and it looks like now I've, murdered somebody in that bathroom, and Bobby comes in and says, "Corny, do we need to call an ambulance?" I said, "No, this happens all the time. I'll be all right." And once it would bleed out, I'd get a little weak, then I'd be able to stop it up. It would clot up. So anyway, but now I'm alone in the car. And I'm trying to drive down. Anybody that's ever been down 79 between Clarksburg and Charleston, West Virginia, I know I've just tickled Stephen P. New. It's hard to drive with both hands because you're going down the mountain and around the curves. Well, now I'm not only hardly able to breathe, I'm coughing constantly. My nose is gushing blood. I'm driving with my left hand. I got my right hand shoved with all the Kleenexes I can muster up into my nose, but every once in a while you got to move and the blood's seeping out. I've got a great Muta scale level juice job going on my chest. My whole t-shirt is red. The fucking tops of my thighs, my lap, the whole 9 yards. Down my right arm is fucking covered in blood. And all over my face. Plus my eyes are bloodshot. And I look at myself in the mirror and I go, my God, how am I going to stop this? Because I've got to get out of this car to stop but if I get out, they will call police on me. Anybody who witnesses me right now will call the police on site because I've been involved in something with somebody. It looks like.
Just say it was the Rock and Roll Express.
Well, they couldn't tell who the fuck I was. So anyway, I'd like it instantly now. But anyway, so I finally figure out that there's one of these rest areas on the side of the interstate. There's nobody because it's West Virginia in between Clarksburg and Charleston. You might as well be in goddamn the Amazonian rainforest, right? But they have to have a state mandated rest area every so often. But there's nobody. I can't get off at an exit, go in a fast food place or whatever the fuck, right? There's no way I can be around people. So I get in the goddamn rest area. And there's one car, and I'm thinking, will I run across this motherfucker on the way? And just then, this poor old lady comes out and she's using a walker to get to her little old fucking VW Beetle she's driving. And I'm like, lady, would you hurry? I'm about to bleed to death. I got to get in there to some water. And then and finally she pulls out, and I was able to run in there, dragging my suitcase behind me with my right hand still up over my fucking face. But get some wet paper towels and get in a stall and change some shit and wipe some shit off and then get to the sink and plug myself up. And before any civilians witnessed me, or I potentially would have gone to fucking jail in West Virginia, where then I would have had to retain Stephen P. New, because everybody knows they mistreat the prisoners over there in the jails in West Virginia.
They would have had to test everything. They would have had to have found out whose blood was all over you.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. Somebody came in, because I didn't have time to, and I didn't have my cleaning kit to really do a great mop-up job in there. So somebody probably came in after me and thought that there'd been a crime committed. If that was you and you were damaged and have PTSD, please call newlawoffice.com, 888, whatever. Anyway, so the point is, how the fuck did I have the dedication? And all of us have the dedication. All the guys that have gone and worked hurt and sick and I never, for a 10-year period, I was never actually on Christmas Day or Thanksgiving Day at home with any of my family while some of them were still alive. How did we have that much dedication for what we did at that point, only to see it turn into the fucking slapdash, amateurish childishness that nobody gives two pisses about today? I guess is where I was going with that.
Yeah, it would be like if one of the great theater actors showed up and the first films they saw were the Three Stooges and they were told, this is everything now. Accept it. There's nothing but this. Embrace it. And I like the Three Stooges.
The phrase, the show must go on, would have never perpetrated if there was really no reason for the show to go on. Is this your show?
This has been the Jim Cornette experience, ladies and gentlemen.
Is this?
No, not again. Oh, no.